Good morning. We have been discussing about the modes of transfer, right? The three possible ways that are used to handle the data transfer are programmed I/O, interrupt initiated I/O, and direct memory access. And in the earlier class, we have discussed about programmed I/O, and we have been discussing about interrupt initiated I/O. Yes, in the programmed I/O, the I/O transfer is initiated by the set of instructions written in the program. And interrupt initiated I/O is the I/O transfer is initiated by the interrupt, okay, not through the instructions written in the program. And we have been discussing about this interrupt initiated I/O. This interrupt initiated I/O, in this, there are two methods for choosing the branch address of a service routine. Okay, the two methods are non-vectored interrupt and vectored interrupt. Non-vectored interrupt, in this, the fixed branch address, right? The fixed memory location is used as a address for interrupt service routine. Okay, in vectored interrupt, the vector address or the branch address is given by the interrupt source. Okay, the device that requests interrupt to the CPU also sent the branch address called interrupt vector or vector address. So this type of interrupt is vectored interrupt, and where the branch address is stored in a fixed location. Okay, is called non-vectored interrupt. And we have also learned that priority interrupt is a vectored interrupt where the the vector address is sent by the device that initiates the interrupt. Okay, and when many devices request send interrupt request signal to CPU, the CPU's job is to find the device, identify the device that need to be served. Okay, establishing priority over many devices. So establishing priority of these simultaneous interrupts is done by either software or by hardware. Polling is a method that uses software. And the methods that use hardware are daisy chaining and parallel priority. Okay, this is what we are going to discuss. And before that, polling, we discussed about this method. Polling, it uses software. And this polling is one initial service routine is executed, right? The CPU, when there are interrupts to be serviced, it executes the initial service routine. This initial service routine will have the instructions to test the devices. So that way, by testing the devices one by one in sequence, the device that has the interrupt request is identified. Okay, it is done in the order of priority. So that way, the device with the highest priority is identified and serviced first, okay, by the CPU. Okay, so this is polling. And here the disadvantage in polling method is the time to test all the devices one by one is more. The time taken by the CPU to test these devices, okay, by using this set of instructions, initial service routine, is more. Okay, so to avoid that, to make establishing the priority of many devices, simultaneous interrupting devices, faster, we use hardware. Okay, hardware method is used to establish the priority. The methods that uses hardware are daisy chaining and parallel priority interrupt. Okay, so first let's see what is this daisy chaining priority. In this daisy chaining priority method, all the devices that are connected to the CPU that can generate interrupt are placed in a serial order. Okay, so here if you see device 1 and then device 2, device 3. Here from left, the first place is device 1. So it has the highest priority. And the next lower priority device is placed in the next place. Okay, device 2. And the device that has the lowest priority among all the devices will be placed at the last position. Okay, this way the devices are placed in a serial order. Okay, and when a device initiates an interrupt, okay, when a device sends an interrupt request to the CPU, this line is enabled. If suppose device 1 sends an interrupt, this is enabled. Okay, this will become 1. or device 2 sends. Okay, so if this line is enabled, all these are connected by the same line, okay, single line here, and CPU receives it as interrupt input. Okay, INT input is the interrupt that is generated by the devices. So if one of this device generates an interrupt, okay, this is enabled here. So CPU, when CPU receives the interrupt, it responds to the devices by enabling interrupt acknowledge. Okay, INT ACK, it's interrupt acknowledge. CPU responds to this interrupts, okay, initiated by these devices by enabling this interrupt acknowledge signal. So when this is enabled, device 1 receives the interrupt acknowledge signal that is sent by the CPU. Okay, interrupt acknowledge, let's say this is, here it is 1, okay, it is enabled now. So every device has the PI input, priority in, okay, PI is priority in, and PO, it is priority output. Okay, every device has priority in and priority out. This priority in, through this input, okay, the device 1 first receives the interrupt acknowledge signal. So it receives this one, and this interrupt acknowledge signal from CPU is passed on to the next devices, device 2, device 3, and so on to all the devices. Yeah, this is passed on to the other devices only if this particular device does not have an interrupt request. Okay, if this device has an interrupt request, it will block, it will not send it to the other device. Okay, I will repeat it. These devices are connected serially, okay, placed in a serial order based on their priority. The highest priority device is placed first in the line, and second, the next lower priority device is placed next in the line, and the lowest priority device. Okay, this way all the devices that are connected to the CPU, okay, or that can request service from the CPU are connected serially. And when a particular device or one or two devices want to request interrupt from the CPU, they enable this line is enabled, and when CPU receives that interrupt signal, okay, it acknowledges or it responds for that interrupt by enabling interrupt acknowledge signal that is received by the devices, okay, as priority input. Every device receives this and it passes on to the other device if that particular device does not have an interrupt request. If it has an interrupt request, it will block it. It will not pass it to the other device. So how it is done? It is received, okay, in the priority interrupt of priority input. Okay, priority input of device 1 is 1 initially. And if this does not have any interrupt, okay, any interrupt request to CPU, it places that one, okay, in the output line as priority output. And that is received by device 2. Okay, this is a signal that is sent by the CPU, the acknowledgement signal. It is passed on to the next device. Now this device 2 receives it. Let's say now device 2 has initiated the interrupt. Okay, so interrupt 2 is enable now. Okay, but CPU doesn't know which particular device has initiated it. Okay, CPU just get indicated by this interrupt signal. Okay, one of the device that is connected to it has initiated the interrupt request. Now it has to, CPU's job is to check, identify the device to serve. Okay, so here let's say, yes, it is initiated by device 2. So here when this, the PI input of device 2 is 1. Okay, it receives it as 1 and it blocks this. Okay, as this device 2 requires the service by the CPU. It blocks this acknowledgement signal and it places a 0, not 1. Okay, as it is blocked here, the priority output of this device 2 will be 0. Okay, so now the priority input of device 3 is 0. Okay, so means the device 3 will now understand that the signal is blocked somewhere. Okay, the response from CPU is blocked by some of the higher priority devices. Some of the devices that has higher priority than this device. Okay, so when any device, when the input is, priority input is 0, okay, means acknowledgement signal is blocked. And CPU is servicing some other device. Okay, this device cannot now take the service from CPU. And this also, as it is already blocked by some device, this places 0 in its output line. And the next device, okay, the priority input of the other device also will be 0. So this means the acknowledgement from the CPU is blocked. So this way, when this is blocked here, okay, now we have, we are assuming that device 2 has initiated the interrupt, okay, interrupt 2, and it has blocked the signal that is that the CPU sent. Okay, means CPU has to service this device now. Okay, for getting service from CPU, it has to, the device has to place the address. This is vectored interrupt. Okay, so in this case, the device has to send the vector address to CPU. So it places this vector address, okay, in the processor data bus, and this it is sent to CPU, and CPU will go to the position where the vector address VAD2, okay, that is the interrupt service routine in memory, where this interrupt services routine is placed in memory, and it will execute this sequence of instructions. Okay, this way interrupt request from any device is serviced based on the priority in daisy chaining priority method. No, it is not controlled by the program. These are all hardware signals. Okay, when the interrupt is enabled, it is the CPU receives that, and it sends an acknowledgement that is received by the devices. And when it has an interrupt request, it blocks it and places the vector address on the data bus. Okay, and then CPU serves the device. And the second method, okay, that uses hardware for establishing priority is parallel priority interrupt. This method uses a register whose bits are set by the interrupt signal from each device. Okay, so here if you see, there are 4 devices connected. Okay, disk, there is a magnetic disk, printer, reader, and keyboard. And we have an interrupt register. Okay, this register is used, and the bits of these registers are set by the interrupt signal generated by these devices. Okay, what is the meaning of that? If disk has interrupt, okay, if it generates an interrupt request, the bits of the register can be either 1 or 0, correct? Okay, so it if it has an interrupt, the bit will be 1. The bit of this register will be 1. Okay, if it does not has an interrupt request, the bit will be 0. If printer has, the bit will be 1, otherwise it is 0. So if suppose the disk has an interrupt request, and also this reader, okay, the device reader also has the interrupt request, the bits in these register would be 1. This is disk. Okay, disk has an interrupt request, so this bit will be first bit, leftmost bit will be 1. And the second one, printer does not have, so it is 0. And reader has interrupt, so it is 1. And the fourth one, keyboard does not have, it is 0. Okay, so this way the bits in the interrupt register, okay, this is our interrupt register. The bits are set by the interrupt generated by the devices. And these devices are placed in the order of their priority. Here this magnetic disk, it is faster than other devices, so this is placed first, and printer is the next fastest device. Okay, so it is placed second in the priority, and reader, it is the next fastest device, so it is placed third, and keyboard is the slowest device among all these, so it is placed last at the priority. The devices are placed in this order. Okay, so these bits, the bits of interrupt register are set by the interrupt signals generated by the devices. And we also have another register called mask register. Okay, here we have a mask register. Use of this mask register is to control the status of the interrupt request. Okay, when there are, this is a highest priority device, disk, and keyboard is the lowest priority device. When these two has interrupt request at the same time, or when the interrupt service routine of this disk is being serviced, okay, and keyboard want to interrupt, keyboard being the lowest priority device, if keyboard wants to interrupt the CPU at that time, when the CPU is servicing a highest priority device, it should not be allowed. Okay, so this bit, by setting the bit here as 0, the corresponding third bit, keyboard is connected to the third bit in the interrupt register, and here the corresponding bit is 3. So by setting the 0, okay, and if it has interrupt, the bit here will be 1, right? Okay, so 1, and when we perform AND operation, 1 and 0 becomes 0. Okay, even though this keyboard has an interrupt request, it is stopped from getting the service from CPU by masking. If the bits are 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay, let's say this is disk being a highest priority device. It has placed an interrupt request. So this bit is 1 in interrupt register. Okay, and this is printer. It does not have interrupt, so it is 0. And reader has interrupt request. It is 1, and keyboard also has 1. Now to service, if the CPU want to service this only the highest priority device, these can be cleared, okay, by placing, these bits are controlled by program. The bits of this mask register are controlled by programs. Okay, it is, so using program, this can be set as 0. The bits at these position need to be set to 0. Okay, and other bits are set to 1 in mask register, and operation is performed. Means when AND operation is performed on these two, we get this 0. And here is 0 and 1. These two are, okay, as it is in the input register, but these two bits are cleared. Okay, so this way CPU can service the highest priority device. Okay, so the use of mask register is this here. Okay, to mask the bits, okay, of the lower priority devices. Okay, example, yes, when the interrupt from the disk has sent an interrupt request, so that is being serviced by the CPU. At that time, all the lower priority devices need to be stopped from requesting or sending interrupt request to CPU, because the CPU is busy servicing a highest priority device. Lower priority devices will not be allowed at that time to send interrupt request to CPU. So at that time, all the bits, okay, all these lower priority bits are set to 0 in the mask register. So even if they generate, if these devices, lower priority devices generate interrupts, it will be masked, okay, it will be cleared. And here the input it receives will be 0. So this interrupts will not be served. Once the CPU finishes executing or servicing the highest priority device, it will enable this. Means it will set this to these registers. Okay, the bits in these this mask register will be set to 1, so that the other interrupts can be allowed. For that, this mask register is used. And this priority encoder, okay, we have this priority encoder here. It is a circuit that implements the priority function. Okay, how it does, I will tell you. So the output of this priority encoder is, one is IST, it is interrupt status. Okay, if there is an interrupt, if suppose the bits here are 1, 0, okay, and let's say now 0, 0. Okay, so there is an interrupt request from disk. So IST will be 1. If all the bits are 0, means there is no interrupt request from the devices. So this will be 0. Okay, IST is the status, it is a flip-flop. IST and IEN, these two are the flip-flops. Okay, a single bit register, the value will be either 1 or 0. Okay, if there is an interrupt request, this will be set to 1. If there is no interrupt request, it will be set to 0. And IEN is the interrupt enable signal. Okay, it is a flip-flop. The value can be 1 or 0. It is 1 when interrupts are allowed to the system, when interrupts are not allowed. Okay, when during execution of some programs, interrupts should be completely stopped. Okay, any devices, any other device cannot be allowed to interrupt at that time. Okay, some important process is going on. Okay, CPU is busy with some important process. So that time interrupts are not allowed to the system. Okay, so that case interrupt enable signal will be set to 0. No device can request the CPU to service it. And here there are two AND gates. This is the interrupt status and interrupt enable. Okay, for generating interrupt to CPU, state of these both registers should be 1. Means there is interrupt enable is allowed. Okay, when interrupt is allowed, interrupt enable will be 1. The value here would be 1. So this is 1 and there is interrupt. Okay, then when these two are 1, it generates 1. The AND gate generates 1, initiating this interrupt signal to CPU so that CPU can service that interrupt. And once CPU receives this, it responds by enabling this interrupt acknowledgement. Okay, interrupt acknowledgement signal that is here entered with this IST and IEN. So IEST is 1, there is interrupt request, interrupt enable is 1, it is allowed, and CPU has received the interrupt and it has responded. Okay, CPU also has responded, this is 1. So it generates a 1 here. So this enables this output register. Okay, here we have this output register, where the address is placed. Okay, in this, the vector address that is sent by the device is placed. Okay, and then later it's been transferred to the CPU by the data bus. So this, when the CPU responds to that interrupt, okay, this enables the address buffers so that vector address can be stored in these buffers. And what are these X and Y? Okay, priority encoder. This is a circuit that implements the priority function. What is this priority function? I'll write the truth table here. Here we have the inputs to the priority encoder and the output it generates. The input, what are the inputs to the priority encoder? I0, I1, I2, and I3. Okay, the interrupt signal from the 4 devices: desk, printer, reader, and keyboard. So when there is an interrupt from I0, okay, means, yeah, let's say this is I0, I1, I2, and I3. Okay, these are the inputs. And the outputs the priority encoder generates is, one is IST and the other two X and Y. Okay, or X and Y, and then IST, interrupt status. So let's say I0 is the interrupt signal from disk. That is the highest priority device. So if the disk has generated an interrupt, this bit will be 1. And when this input is received, okay, when this 1 is received by the priority encoder, it will not consider all these inputs: I1, I2, I3. Okay, when I0 is 1, okay, as disk is the highest priority device, it has an interrupt. This means when I0 is 1 means the disk has an interrupt request to CPU. Okay, so this need to be serviced first. No, to service this, the priority encoder generates a function. It will not consider all these I1, I2, and I3. Okay, so here we denote this in truth table by don't care conditions. Okay, these are not cared, whether it has 1 or 0. Okay, it may have an interrupt request to CPU or may not. Okay, but these are not considered here. Okay, when this higher priority device has 1. So the output it generates in this case, when disk has 1, okay, an interrupt request, the output generated, the value of X and Y would be 0, 0. Okay, means here discuss the first device, okay, highest priority, that is 0, 0. And this is at position 1 in the register, okay, that is identified by 0, 1, the bits 0, 1, okay, and 1, 0 designates this 2, device 2, and 1, 1, okay, is device 3. Okay, so to identify the device disk, it is the value X and Y would be 0, 0. And what would be IST? There is an interrupt. Interrupt request is there from the first device. The input I naught is 1. So IST would be 1. There is, in this means there is an interrupt. And the next case, this is the first case. And if there is no interrupt from the disk, but there is an interrupt request from the printer, okay, means the input that is connected is I1. Okay, so that case I1 would be 1. When I1, I0 does not have interrupt request and I1 has, and where this is the next higher priority device. When this is 1, we don't need to consider these two. Okay, priority encoder will not consider the status of interrupt status of these registers. Okay, bit I2 and I3. Okay, these devices, bits I2 and I3 are not considered. Okay, and it generates the output 0, 1 to serve the device 1. Device 1 is printer. Okay, and interrupt status would be 1. Okay, meaning that there is an interrupt request. And the third status is, third one is this does not have and this does not have. If suppose the next higher priority device I2, okay, device 2 has interrupt request, then this need not be considered. And it generates, it is the second device, so it is 1, 0, and interrupt status is 1. And the next case is, if this does not have and the first device does not have, second device does not have, and the third device, the device at the lowest priority has interrupt. Okay, so this case, it generates the output 1, 1, means device 3 need to be serviced. And it enables the interrupt status line. Bit 1 will be set in this register IST. And there is one more possibility is no device has interrupt request. Okay, disk does not have interrupt request, printer, none of these devices have an interrupt request to CPU. Okay, so this case, it will not generate any XY. Okay, so these values are not generated. And IST, thus there is no interrupt request, this will be 0. CPU service the device that requested the interrupt, okay, with the condition when IST is 1 and IEN is 1. Okay, interrupt enable means interrupt is allowed. Interrupt should be allowed at that moment. Then only it can be serviced by CPU. And it has requested, some devices requested the CPU to service. Okay, so then it will be 1. So when IEN is 1 and IST is 1, this interrupt signal is generated. Okay, so this XY, bits XY of this output register designates the device. Okay, if X and Y are 0, 0 means the device that is identified as device 0. Okay, that is disk in our case. And if X and Y are 0 and 1 means the device identified as the device 1, that is printer in our case. If it is 1 and 0 means the device identified as device 2, that is reader. And if it is 1 and 1, if X and Y are 1 and 1, the device identified as keyboard. Okay, and the respective devices that is identified places its vector address. Okay, the vector address in the output in this buffer. Okay, register buffer, output register buffers. And when the CPU gives the signal, okay, to service, that address is placed in the data bus and being transferred to CPU. This way, in parallel priority interrupts, the devices are serviced. Any doubts in this? Daisy chaining interrupt and parallel priority interrupt. Have understood? Fine. Yes. So next is interrupt cycle. So when the interrupt is initiated by the devices, okay, by one of the devices, that is connected to the CPU, CPU has to stop the program that it is executing, and it has to execute the interrupt service routine, okay, of that particular device that requested send the interrupt request to CPU. So at the end of each instruction cycle, CPU checks IEN and IST. If both IEN and IST are equal to 1, CPU goes to an interrupt cycle. Okay, so for servicing the device, okay, that has requested, that has sent the interrupt request to CPU. The condition for CPU to service IEN should be 1, means the interrupt is allowed at that moment, and IST should be 1, means there is an interrupt request. Okay, when IST and IEN are 1, the CPU goes to interrupt cycle to execute the interrupt service routine. What are the sequence of micro operations, okay, done during this interrupt cycle? First, SP. So in the memory stack, the content of PC, okay, we know that the return address is there in PC. Okay, the CPU, the main program is being executed here. Okay, and here we have the interrupt service routine, and PC is pointing to the next instruction. So at this line, okay, second instruction, there is an interrupt. Okay, this is the return address. CPU has to jump to this particular place to execute this and return back to the same place, okay, to execute the next instruction. So this return address need to be stored. Okay, to store it in the stack. Okay, here it is memory stack. Okay, we are talking about the address will be in the decreasing order. Okay, so if it is the last address, okay, it has to be decremented. That's why here we wrote the step first micro operation is SP minus 1. So when it is decremented, let's say if the memory has some data, memory stack has some data already. We are at the hundreds, location 1000. Okay, and here this is the top value, and to store this, now the PC need to be stored. So it need to be decremented. Okay, so 1000 minus 1 SP, this is SP, stack pointer is pointing to the top of the stack. So when it is decremented, it becomes 999, and here at this place, the value of PC is stored. And M of SP, okay, memory word at SP is, okay, PC is moved to this location. Means the value at PC, not, okay, PC is a register program counter, the value, okay, the particular address, return address will be stored here. And interrupt acknowledge is set to 1. Okay, CPU, after saving the return address, it enables the interrupt acknowledge signal to service the interrupt. And the vector address is placed in PC. The vector address is placed in PC. Okay, PC, the return address is stored in the stack. And now after enabling the interrupt acknowledgement, the control has to move to vector address that is given by the device. Okay, that is the location of ISR, interrupt service routine. And interrupt enable is set to 0. Okay, means at this moment of taking the control from main program to the interrupt service routine, at this time interrupt will not be allowed. Okay, because CPU has to settle down to execute this ISR. Okay, at this moment, okay, the time of transferring the control from main program to interrupt service routine, interrupts are stopped. Okay, no more device can request the interrupt. So IAN is set to 0. And the next step is go to fetch the next instruction. What is the next instruction? PC has the next instruction is a instruction that is addressed by PC, right? PC has vector address. Vector address is the address of the interrupt service routine. Okay, so the next instruction is the first instruction of interrupt service routine. These are the micro operations that are performed during interrupt cycle. Okay, before executing the interrupt service routine, before executing the instructions in interrupt service routine, the CPU has to set up all these. Decrement the pointer in memory, okay, stack pointer, and at that location place the return address from PC, enable the interrupt acknowledgement signal, okay, and place the vector address in PC, okay, and set IEN to 0 to stop the incoming interrupts for some until the CPU start executing this, okay, and execute the instructions now. As the address is the control is no, taken to the address, now the instructions can be executed. And when this ISR, interrupt service routine, is executed, yeah, if we consider the instructions that are given in this ISR, you can divide it into three parts. Okay, the first one is initial statements, initial instructions, and the actual instructions, okay, that are to be executed. And we have the third one is the final set of instructions. Okay, this ISR, interrupt service routine. CPU will go to, after setting up all this, CPU go to fetch the next instruction. That is the ISR, the first instruction of ISR. This interrupt set of instructions, okay, if we consider of interrupt service routine, it has the initial set of instructions and the other instructions, okay, that are actually requested by the device, the service that is requested by the device. Okay, and then the final set of instructions that the CPU execute. What are these initial set of instructions? First one is clear the lower level mask register bits. Okay, mask register bits are used to allow the interrupts to enter or to not allow the interrupts to enter, to change the interrupt status. Okay, so these bits are cleared. Okay, these bits are mask register bits are used to clear the bits, okay, or to set. So initially we are, when the CPU is servicing one interrupt, the lower level bits must be cleared. Okay, let's say in our, we have a disk and then printer, a reader, and the keyboard. Okay, if this has sent the interrupt, this is 1. Okay, the interrupt register bits would be 1 and this all 0 initially. Okay, so CPU starts servicing this interrupt. So that is during the initial routine, the lower level mask register bits are set to 0. Okay, so what would be the bits of this mask register? Here it is 1, and to set it 1, keep it 1, and all the other bits would be set to 0. Okay, why all these bits are set to 0? To stop the other devices sending the interrupt request to CPU when the CPU is busy servicing the highest priority device. Okay, disk is the highest priority device among these. So when this is being served, other devices will not be allowed to send interrupt request. So for that, we clear the lower level mask registers. If suppose this does not have, this is 0, and the printer has sent an interrupt request. Okay, so CPU is busy servicing this printer. Okay, at this time, these two devices, reader and keyboard, should not be allowed to interrupt the CPU. But this can be allowed, being a higher priority device than printer, this can be allowed. Okay, so here this bit will be 1. Okay, and 1 and 0 makes it 0 when it does not has an interrupt request. Okay, but if suppose it want to interrupt in the middle, it can do that. Okay, it can send a request so that it will be 1, and CPU stop this and execute this particular service routine. Okay, it serves this device first because this is the highest priority device. Okay, so for that, this first step is to clear the lower level mask register bits. And the second step is clear interrupt status bit. Okay, interrupt status bit was already 1, right? Okay, there is an interrupt, so CPU is servicing this. Now, once this is being serviced, okay, it is now there is no currently active interrupt. The request is being serviced. So this can be set to 0. Okay, clear interrupt status bit. And save contents of the processor registers. Why we need to save the contents of the processor register? Before coming to this interrupt service to execute this interrupt service routines, the main program was being executed by the CPU. And the processor registers are used by this program, okay, this main program. There is data, okay, stored during the execution of these instructions in the processor register. And once this interrupt is serviced, okay, the CPU has to return back to this main program, and it requires, right? This program may need all the values back, what are being stored in the registers. During this interrupt service routine execution of these instructions, this may alter the values of the registers. But once it returns back, we need the old values that are, okay, maintained by this program. So to store the values safely, and then set interrupt enable bit, IEN. Okay, interrupt enable bit is set to 1 because interrupt is allowed when the highest priority device sends an interrupt. When a device is being serviced, no lower priority device can send an interrupt request, but higher priority can send. Okay, so we enable this. But this lower priority and okay, this is controlled by the masked register bits. Interrupt enable is set to 1, and then proceed with the service routine. Okay, so once this initial operations are done, clearing the lower level mask register bits, then clearing the status bit as the requested device is being serviced by the CPU. Now this can be set to 0 and save the contents of the processor register. Okay, earlier contents of the processor register need to be saved so that it can be resumed back. The values can be taken back once the CPU comes back to the actual program. And set the interrupt enable bit to 1. Okay, means set the interrupt enable bit, IEN, means set it to 1. Okay, to enable more other interrupts, and proceed with service routine. So now the CPU, after performing these operations, it will proceed with the service routine to finish this, execute these instructions. Then what are the final set of operations? Final sequence of operations are clear interrupt enable bit, IEN. Now all the instructions here, these are the main instructions that need to be executed for servicing the device. That is done. Okay, now the CPU has to change to, okay, go to the main program, actual program it was executing before being interrupted. Okay, so that time during the transfer of control from this interrupt service routine to the main program, the interrupt cannot be allowed. Okay, CPU cannot, no device can interrupt at that moment. So it is set to 0. And restore the contents of processor register. We have saved the processor registers in the initial stage, and once the interrupt service is done, restore the processor register because the instructions in the main program need to be processed. We need the values back. And clear the bit in the interrupt register belonging to the source that has been serviced. Okay, if disk has interrupted, the interrupt register would be 1000. Now this is being serviced, so now we need to clear it. Okay, that is what is the step, clear the bit in the interrupt register. And the fourth step is set lower level priority bits in the mask register. Okay, in the initial stage, we have cleared the mask register. When this is being serviced in the mask register, if this particular device disk is being serviced, okay, disk has initiated the interrupt. So this is being serviced, all the other bits are cleared to stop the lower level devices to send interrupt. Now we need to set all these. Okay, all these bits are set to 1 because this is serviced, and this is set to 0. And restore the return address into PC. Okay, from the stack, we have stored it in the value in PC is stored in stack, so it has to be restored and set IEN. Okay, initially in this, okay, final sequence of operations, we have cleared it, okay, for stopping the interrupt coming from the devices until these operations are done. Because CPU cannot service because it is busy doing all this, restoring the contents of processor register and clearing the bit in the interrupt register and setting the mask register bits. Okay, then restoring the address into PC so that it can return to the actual address, actual program. Okay, now it sets the IEN. Now interrupts can be allowed. Okay, now CPU is executing the actual program. It can receive interrupts. Okay, so it is set to 1 here. These are the final set of operations, the final sequence of operations that are executed during this interrupt service. We have discussed the initial, the interrupt cycle. Okay, when the interrupt CPU is interrupted from the process it is doing, it stores the program counter into memory stack and enable the interrupt acknowledgement signal. Means the CPU is ready to execute the interrupt service routine. Okay, and the vector address that is being sent by the device that interrupted the CPU will be placed in program counter, and that will be the next instruction. Okay, so IEN is 0, set to 0, and it goes to the next instruction. And the interrupt service routine will have the initial set of operations, and here we discuss the final set of operations. So here is an example. Here we have all the software routines that are needed for the CPU to service the interrupt. Okay, service the device that has interrupted. Here, the main program. Okay, let's say that CPU is executing the instructions in the main program. Okay, and at this particular location, 749. Okay, here the CPU has been interrupted. Okay, we have the devices that are connected to CPU are disk. Let's say I1 is the interrupt initiated by the disk. Okay, the highest priority device. And we have the reader, printer, the next device. Printer generates interrupt I2, and the character reader generates interrupt I3, and the lowest priority device we have as a keyboard as the lowest priority device that generates interrupt I4. Okay, so when the CPU is executing the 749th instruction, the CPU is interrupted. Okay, at that time PC is holding this address 750 because that is the next instruction. So when interrupted, what the CPU does, it stops the execution of the current program, and the instructions given in interrupt cycle. Okay, these set of instructions are executed. Okay, these are all the micro operations that are done during interrupt cycle. SP, stack pointer, is decremented, and in that location PC is stored. Okay, so here what the CPU does, 750 is the return address. It is stored in the stack, okay, in the memory stack, and this is stack pointer. Okay, yes, and during this execution, it is CPU is being interrupted by, let's say, the interrupt I4 arrives at this time. Okay, and the vector address, the device sent the vector address, it is vectored interrupt. Okay, vector address is 3. Okay, the CPU stops executing these instructions and it stores the return address in the stack. Okay, so 750 is stored here, and the vector address, okay, that is sent by the device is stored in PC. Okay, so here PC will be loaded with the vector address that is 3. So that will become the next instruction. Okay, so this way CPU, the control will go to execute the interrupt service routine. Okay, so when the control comes to 3, okay, execute the next instruction, right? This is done, PC, and IEN is set to 0 because during this transfer of control, no other interrupt is allowed. Okay, CPU cannot be interrupted. So it is set to 0. Interrupt is not enabled, this means. And go to fetch the next instruction. Next instruction is the instruction that is at location, this address VAD. Okay, that is in PC. So PC has 3. Now it goes to location 3, address 3. And here is the jump instruction. KBD is the address here. Okay, so the control will be taken to this address KBD, and here we have the program to service the keyboard. Okay, the interrupt service routine for servicing the keyboard. So CPU will execute this. Here we have initial set of instructions and the actual instructions to service the device keyboard, and we have a final set of instructions. Okay, the initial set of instructions we have learned here, what all being done there when during the execution of the service routine. Initially, lower level mask registers are set to 0, means what in the list, keyboard is the lowest device, okay, lowest priority device. So we do not have any other lower priority device. This means that all the other devices, disk, printer, and reader can interrupt the CPU during the execution of the routines, okay, program of this device. Yes, and after that, clear the interrupt status bit and save the content of processor registers and set the interrupt enable bit. IEN means IEN will be set to 1. Okay, meaning of that is interrupt can be allowed, okay, during the execution of these instructions, and proceed with the service routine. So here IEN is set to 1. So all the other higher priority devices can interrupt the CPU. Okay, now CPU is executing the instructions in this program to service the keyboard. And here, let's say at 255th instruction, okay, when the CPU is executing this particular instruction, we have interrupt 1, okay, arrives at this time during the execution of 255th instruction. So CPU stop this I1, okay, interrupt 1 is initiated by disk, okay. It is the highest priority device, okay. So CPU stops this, okay, stops execution of this instruction, and the value of PC is stored, okay, in the stack, that is 256. Right, it is stored in the stack. Here we have at the top of the stack 256, and SP is decremented, so SP will be made to point to this. And the control, the vector address, okay, the device centers, let's say it is 0, okay, so the control will be taken to this location, and this jump instruction directs the transfer of control. So jump disk, okay, we have the address disk, so here it goes to this location and execute the set of instructions. The interrupt service routine, okay, that to service the magnetic disk is being executed. Okay, so when these execution of these instructions are over, we will have a return instruction. Okay, so means final service routine. Okay, during the execution of the final instructions here, clear the interrupt enable bit. IEN is set to 0 because the control has to now transfer to the earlier program. So restore the contents of processor registers. Clear the bit in the interrupt register belonging to the source that has been serviced. Set lower level priority bits in the mask register. Okay, we have set it earlier as 0. Now it has to be set to 1. Okay, now restore the return address into PC and set IEN. Okay, so here the address, the return address that is stored in the stack at the top location is restored to PC. Okay, so PC will have, this is removed, 256 is removed and stored in PC. PC will have this address. So where the control will go, control will jump to location 256, execute the remaining instructions to service the keyboard when this instructions are over. Okay, when the execution of these instructions are over, the final routine, okay, final instructions in this service routine will take the control. Okay, it will restore the value return address to PC, that is 750. This is at the top now. This has been already removed. Okay, so this is stored in PC. That will take the control to 750th location, okay, in the main program, and these instructions are executed. and IENS. At the same time, IENS set to 1 here, okay, during the final operations. Okay, and mask register bits are also set. All the bits are set to 1. So now any of these devices can interrupt the CPU. Okay, so this way the interrupt service is done to the devices using this interrupt initiated IO.